What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another video review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the SH Monsterarts Megaguirus Evolution set from the 2000 film Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Now, this is a film, I don't know if I mentioned this in the review for the Godzilla figure that pairs alongside this Megaguirus. This is a movie that I really haven't ever touched. I know that, to my research and to my knowledge, it's kind of a niche movie that isn't exactly well liked among the Godzilla fandom. For me, the only reason I know about Megaguirus as a character is because of the Pipeworks Godzilla games, from Destroy All Monsters Melee to Godzilla Unleashed to Godzilla Save the Earth. Those three games in general. Megaguirus was added in the second game, Save the Earth, and also was in the third game, Unleashed. And when it comes to Megaguirus, that's all of the characterization I have of Megaguirus. But I really wanted to pick this up because I do think that in terms of a design, even though she's kind of basic, she's a bug queen at the end of the day, she's a really cool design in my opinion. She looks really neat. I really like her design. And so, take a look at the box. You can obviously see the Megaguirus Evolution set right over there. You can see the Bandai logo, the Tamashii Nations logo as well. You can see the Godzilla 2026 down there. Godzilla, you can see the Toho as well. Obviously, this is Godzilla versus Megaguirus in Japanese. Then you can see the Bandai Namco right there, SH Monsterarts, and obviously the very nice product shot of Megaguirus herself. And then we're going to spin her onto the side here, and then you can see some more nice text here of the Megaguirus text, some more nice text here, and a product shot of Megaguirus herself, and then finally your obligatory product shots here on the back of the box. And she looks really, really good. And I'll tell you this right away, the actual figure itself is actually really cool, and I think it's really well done, and I think it's awesome. But we'll get more into some of the issues that I have with it, and mainly, no surprise, the price. I'll talk about that at the very end. But when it comes to the packaging, I think that Bandai did a fantastic job as per usual, folks, and so without further ado, alrighty, folks, here we have the SH Monsterarts Megaguirus out of the box, and I gotta say, she looks really, really good. Now, I know that with the SH Monsterarts Godzilla from this same movie that pairs along with it from Bandai, you know, the SH Monsterarts version, that version wasn't exactly super accurate to what we saw in the film, as well as in particular the suit that was used for the actual film itself. And it's not that it's ridiculously off, but it's one of those things where at a glance, you're gonna be looking at that Godzilla and be like, oh, it looks really, really close. And then as you start to compare pictures and look at the details of the suit and everything, then you start to see the mismatched color, you start to see some of the sculpted differences and everything like that, and it's not exactly one-to-one at all when it comes to referencing the original 2000 Godzilla suit to the actual figure that they made, and even what we saw in the movie as well. But when it comes to Megaguirus, I was looking at pictures online of the suit, and I was looking at the actual screenshots from the movie as well. And when we're looking at it, I mean, I was looking at the proportions, I was looking at the colors. Obviously, the color might be a little bit off, considering probably the materials that are used for the suit are obviously going to be very different from what they're used for this, you know, figure at the end of the day. But regardless, looking at the proportions, the paint, the sculpt work, I really think they did a pretty fantastic job of matching what we saw in the movie, as well as the suit, and replicating it in this actual figure here. So taking a look at the details here, the first striking thing is going to be the very, you know, red eyes. Like, those are really cool. Very, very bug-like. I really like this entire face that she's got. The teeth look really nice. Also, you can see on the inside of her mouth is nicely painted as well. This just looks really, really good. You can see all of, like, this yellow, you know, striping across her body, and all these curves and points and everything like that. She looks really good. And you can see even on the underbody, she has all of this, like, lighter brown color that is supposed to represent her underbody. Even take a look at the claws here. You can see the claws also look very, very nice. You can see all those, like, you know, the more of that, you know, yellow, you know, brownish highlighting. You can see here in what I would assume would be like claws or mandibles, right? And you can see a little bit here. You can see all the nice molded in detail on the scales as well. You can see that on the face. It looks really, really good as well. Then coming here onto the back, it's also honestly all replicated here. And then even for her wings, the texture is pretty good. These are nicely articulated as well. You'll see that. And you can see they're nicely painted here at the end with this little red. Overall, when it comes to Megaguirus, and even these little I don't even know what these would be called in terms of organs, but regardless, these things on the bottom of her tail are also well painted, and these are accurate to the film. And then obviously her tail, like a stinger, is really nice as well. Overall, when you're taking a look at her as a whole, she just looks really, really good. And I've probably put a bunch of pictures on screen already talking about her as I've been going through the details. But when it comes to her actual visuals, she's pretty fantastic. And I'll tell you this right now, she moves really, really well as well. And so when it comes to this Megaguirus Megaguirus figure. I have no major issues with it in terms of the looks and the details and everything like that. I really think they did a bang-up job. And the one thing I didn't even point out is as you get further here back into the tail, you can see this red start to pop up even more. But yeah, like I told you, when it comes to the sculpt, detail work, everything like that, I really think that they did a fantastic job. And so what we're going to do, it's kind of weird for me to do it, the size comparison like this, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to put Megaguirus off to the side here. Alright folks, here she is with the Transformers Legacy United Infernac Universe Deluxe Class Magnus. As you can see, when it comes to her, she's obviously going to be within that 6-7 inch scale, but at the end of the day, she is a bug. If you don't know her backstory in the movie, she's essentially the queen of these underground bugs called the Meganula, which is why she's called Megaguirus. And essentially, she was the queen, and all these bugs, these Meganula, absorbed Godzilla's energy through some way, I think, and then they ended up transferring the energy to the queen, and then obviously transferring Godzilla's energy DNA to the queen, and ended up mutating her into this, and obviously she wanted to, I believe, kill Godzilla and absorb his energy and his essence and everything like that for her colony or whatever. And so when it comes to Megaguirus, that's her backstory. But yeah, when we're looking at the size here, obviously it's going to look weird because she is a bug and she obviously has different proportions. She doesn't exactly stand on two hind legs at the end of the day, but I think she's a really solid size, and you'll see that here when we bring in the G-Man. And alrighty folks, here she is with the SH Monsterarts Godzilla from the Godzilla film, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. And so when we take a look at these two, they do look very nice together. I think when it comes to the size here, I'll even move them around a little bit. This is a pretty good size. There's a scene in the film where Megaguirus is sort of up like this and trying to sting and dragging along Godzilla. I think that this is a really good size. I'll see if I can put that picture on the screen right now. But we're talking about the size. I have no major issues with the size of this figure. She is really, really solid in that respect. And I do think that they look really good together. I think out of the pairing, funnily enough, I think that Godzilla is the worst of the two of them. Alright folks, it's time to get into her accessories. And I'm so surprised to say this time around, she actually does come with accessories. For once in SH Monsterarts' lifetime, they actually decided to include accessories for her. And so, she actually includes a decent bit of stuff. The first thing we're going to go over is probably the least cool of the accessories, and it's mainly the little Meganula. So she comes with a few of these, so she comes with a bunch of them here. She comes with 5 of these guys, and they kind of look like dragonflies at the end of the day. They're nicely painted and nicely sculpted, but again, they're only one color because, well, they're so small. And then she also comes with a bunch of these little guys as well. You can see them. They look pretty nice. Again, they're just, little extras that you can add for display and whatnot. And then to go along with that, they come with this sprue. Now, this is a sprue that you can chop these off and you can put these on little stands. You can clip these, and if you can see, they're like little clips like that. So you can clip these guys on their butt. Like their tail, I guess is what you would call it. But in all reality, you can see that you can do that. And then the idea is that you can remove them from the sprue and put them on very tiny stands. But at the end of the day, they just look weird on these stands. I'm sure you can find something that would, a third-party stand that would be better to display these guys. Or just not use a stand to display them at all. You could also do that if you really wanted to. I haven't bothered to remove them from the sprue because I just really don't care to have them displayed like that. Because I don't have any extra third-party stands to put these on, because you can see that they have peg holes right there on the bottom. Yeah, I don't really care for that, but at the end of the day, it is cool that she does come with a few, of her, I guess, minions and everything like that. Like, it's nice that you can display them, and obviously for some people that might creep them out, but I honestly think that it's cool that she comes with them. The other things that she comes with mainly is going to be a stand. So she comes with one stand, and when we bring it in here, see, she comes with the stand. This is the main one you can put on, and basically you're gonna lay this attachment in particular, this one you can see. You're gonna lay that here, right here, like so, like that, and then we can raise the camera up a little bit so you guys can see that. But yes, this actually holds her really, really well. I'm actually quite a fan of how this holds her. Very nice in that respect. I do really like this accessory. This is very nice. The other thing she does have is a two-part, sort of. So you have this little base here. You can put it down like this. And the only thing that pisses me off about this is that this doesn't tab in. So what you're going to do is you're just going to sort of lay it right here like so. And then you can remove this attachment, and it very simply just pegs on with that hole, and there's a peg right at the top of that stand. You're going to peg this one on, and the way you want to peg it on is so it's facing like this, and there is a peg hole right there. So you're just going to peg it on like like so. And then what you can do is Megaguirus has, she uses her stinger, and so what you can do is you can curve the tail sort of like this, and I think it's the second one here, or I think it's this one here. And then what you can do is you can lay her tail on, oops, I promise you this works. I literally had it work yesterday when I was messing around with it. And then you can just lay her tail on top of this. There we go. And then you can simulate her trying to sting Godzilla. And that's pretty cool, the fact that you have this display. Again, the only thing that annoys me is that the couple things that annoy me. The connection in the back really isn't all that secure. And the fact that this little piece on the bottom doesn't bother. Maybe I had that the wrong way. I don't know if I did. Might have, but just find which way ends up balancing her the best. The bottom part doesn't peg in, and if you move it ever so slightly, like you're seeing, I'm just kind of twisting it around and it's already falling apart. It's not super secure. Oh, okay, I guess that's better. I guess I got it better there. But yes, you can see what I'm saying. It's not the most secure. You can get her like this, and again, that's a pretty cool display piece to be able to have like that. But at the end of the day, I'm glad she comes with stuff, and I can definitely see where the price has increased to add this stuff in. But at the end of the day, it's nothing special. In terms of other accessories that I would have wanted to add for her, there really isn't much, unfortunately. I just really wish they would have just taken the price down, and we'll talk about that when we get to the conclusion. It's just that when you're looking at her as a character, she's not like Godzilla where she has like, atomic breath, or she's not like King Ghidorah where she has the ability to have like, lightning bolts come out of her, or not like King Caesar or something like that. And not even like Gigan where you have replaceable hands, right? Like Final Wars Gigan in particular, not something like that. And so at the end of the day, there really wasn't anything else that they could have added besides maybe like destroyed buildings. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't really care to have that. At the end of the day, I just wouldn't mind having her figure, and having the stand is also really nice. So at the end of the day, despite the fact that I do think that maybe they could have added something, I'm also to the conclusion where I don't really think that there's anything else that they could have done that would have added that much to the figure that would have made it so much cooler. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the actual accessories that she does come with, they're pretty nice. Again, the biggest issue I have is when you're trying to get her into this pose in particular using the stand, that bottom part doesn't peg in, and she kind of sits in there a bit loose. So she's not super secure on that. Alrighty, and because we're sort of got her in this pose already, we're just going to get right into the articulation, which this is one of the biggest good things about her. She is fantastically articulated. So if we remove her from this little stand here, what you're going to do is when it comes to the head, it's on several ball joints, like a bunch through here, so you can get some really nice motion here. You can get side to side, you can bend this far, you can bend that far, you can look side to side that much. The mouth opens and closes very nicely. There's no tongue in there, which has been unfortunate, but I don't think she really even had one. The arms are also on ball joints at several points. You can bend them like this. You can rotate these claws and the mandibles like that. You can go down, well, not super far down. You can see that ball joint came off. But at the end of the day, they're as movable as you would want them to, and then the claws open and close about that far. The top one doesn't open, the bottom one does. The body, not really articulated, but the wings, they can go up and down. You can also rotate them like so you can get a lot of cool, diving shots or something like that. Like, that's pretty neat. But they can go up and down pretty far, so you can get the, the flapping as well, simulate that. For her smaller legs, they're on ball joints there, and you have a swivel, I think, basically here. Actually, no, you don't. It's a little ball joint, but it's very hard to move. But you can bend them in like that, and you can bend these legs really nicely. So you can get some really nice poses out of these legs, especially when you have her in like that stinging stance like this. And speaking of her tail, it's awesome. This is like one of the best tails that SH Monsterarts has ever made in terms of the movability. I mean, look at that. You can do pretty much anything. And even, I didn't show you, these are also movable. These are really cool. This doesn't really move, but these two on the side really do move. And at the end of the day, when it comes to Megaguirus' articulation, that is one thing that this figure does extremely well. Very, very happy with that, and I think they did a fantastic job with her articulation. So no major complaints about that right here. And so guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the SH Monsterarts Megaguirus Evolution set from the 2000 film Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, this is a really solid figure when it comes to the actual figure itself. What I really do like about her is I think she did a really good job with, replicating what we saw on screen, as well as with the suit. The paint, the detail, the sculpt is really, really nice across her entire body. In addition to that, I also think her articulation is absolutely fantastic. The other thing too I really do like is that she actually comes with accessories. Sure, the Meganula, like little, drones and minions that she has, really aren't all that crazy, but it's nice that they added them. And in addition to that, I really like that they added the stand. The only issues I really have in terms of everything that they added, excuse me, I really do think that the stand could have used some more pegs in that bottom part for her stinger on her tail. I really think that it should have been, be able to be pegged in at the end of the day. And I also think that maybe that they could have designed the other part that supports her back a little bit better, because at the end of the day, move this a little bit, to the side or something like that, and she'll tip over and fall over. So that does suck. But there's nothing really bad in particular about the figure itself, and that's why it's really hard for me to say this. But the biggest detriment I have with this figure is the price. It's about $220. And I'll be honest with you, if you ask me straight up, is she worth that much? No. But one reviewer, I forget who they are, but I'll provide a link to the video in the description. The one thing that they pointed out that I'd also like to reiterate too from their video is that I understand from a perspective of like, this is a very niche character and a not well-beloved character from a not very well-beloved movie. And because of that, they have to charge a price that sort of reflects how much they think that they will sell. And I assume that they don't think they're going to sell much of Megaguirus, considering, well, it's a niche character from a niche movie that's not very well liked amongst Godzilla fans. And because of that, in a way, I understand why they charge this much. But when you're looking at the figure in a vacuum, removing the context of what movie she came from and everything like that, and you're looking at this as just a figure and, comparing it to the lineup of other figures within this line, within Godzilla, this just isn't worth the $220. And I will be adamant about that unless you really like her, I would not recommend going out and getting this right away. But I will say, out of a 10, I'll give her an 8, because I do think that she is really well done as a figure in and of itself. But when you factor in the price and everything like that, I just do not think she is worth the $220. I would recommend you wait for a sale or something like that, or if you can get it secondhand, something like that. At the end of the day, I do not recommend picking this up for full price, because I just don't think that she's worth it. Even though I do think that her as a figure, again, very, very good. That biggest detriment to me is going to be the price. But I did pick mine up on Big Bad Toy Store, so leave a link in the description to that. I'll also leave links down below to Amazon, as well as Entertainment Earth or other retailers if I can find them, if you guys wish to use those retailers instead of Big Bad Toy Store. And also, in addition, if you're looking for this IRL, I would highly recommend you look at your third-party stores, your toy stores, everything like that around your area. If you have something like that you can go to relatively regularly and are able to find figures like this, I would probably take a look at those those retailers and see if you can find them, find her on the shelf there. But I assume that they might even charge more for it, considering how much it costs to get her in the first place. So just be wary of that. But that's really it for the review. So I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video review, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.